Hi peaches, it's Shaaba. Welcome back to my channel and thank you for clicking on another video. We're taking a look at some entitled parents today to remind us of what not to do as parents, and let me tell you that some of the things that we have found on this forum are wild. Like, bad wild. But you know what's a good wild? The kind that makes you want to swing from the trees or ride a ferocious tiger like the jungle goddess you are. It's this wild. Thank you for partnering on today's video. Now listen here peaches, I have worked with Wild for months and I use their product every day. Wild makes gorgeous clean beauty. I personally love their deodorants and body wash so that you can feel good whilst doing good. They use natural ingredients, they're vegan, they're cruelty free. Yeah, exactly. And for a natural product, let me tell you, it's 24-hour protection. I took my little bee case with me on our incredibly hot and sweaty US tour, and I smelt glorious. And now they've released this unbelievably gorgeous Tropical Jungle Edition. How cute is this? In my opinion, this is the most beautiful by far. And this scent, so fresh, unisex, and as always, so great for the planet. The refills are made from bamboo and Wild do not use single-use plastic. Wild plant a tree with every purchase too. So it's a great way to treat yourself or a loved one. They make great gifts, and the planet too. So if you want to join me on this tropical jungle paradise made only with the bare necessities, do you see what I did there? You can use this QR code or the link downstairs in my description box with the code SHAABA20 for 20% off everything. But do get a wiggle on because the code only lasts for a limited time and this is a limited edition. Alright, my tropical peaches, grab yourself a cocktail and let's dive deep into entitled parents. Expected to help because we don't have kids. Ain't that the story? We just spent a weekend with family. We are the only couple who don't have kids, says OP. We were in a cabin with six children. Wowee. That's a lot of children. 2 of these toddlers have major attachment issues and scream for their parents if they're not being held by mom or dad. And the whole weekend revolved around these 2. At least it was only for a weekend. I love a good family holiday, but like many things that are very tasty, they are great in moderation. Husband and I were constantly given tasks to help with them, including babysitting whilst mum looked after the other kid. At least it wasn't that mum was like popping off to like go have a kiki with her friends or go have a cocktail night and you were left to babysit every day. Like that would not be fantastic, but I can still see why this is an issue. The youngest was put down for naps in the common area and we were constantly being told to be quiet so that we didn't wake him. We barely had time to ourselves and we wanted to get away for a hike or swim in the lake, but that never happened. No. I'm assuming that you also paid for some of this holiday, which is really sad to me that like you didn't get any time that you wanted, like quality time for the 2 of you. That is not ideal. I think like it's totally fine to expect you to have some duties of helping out so that other people can get respite, even if they have kids and you don't. I know they chose that life, but you know, like being roped in as like the auntie uncle figures even on a limited amount of time, I feel is like reasonable. It also depends on the length of the holiday, right? But to not get any time for yourself, that is really sad. OP continues, the cherry on top was at the airport. Husband and I ran ahead to go through security to get away and enjoy some alone time. Oh no. You know it's bad when your only couple time is you squeezing seconds at the security gate. No. There was an issue at security with my mum and dad, so my sister spots us sitting with our luggage and yells at us to come and help. Husband ran off and I grabbed our luggage to see what the issue is. She left my husband with a bunch of bags, 2 screaming toddlers and a stroller and disappeared. Did the stroller also have the baby? Because that would be 3 squishes and with all of those bags. I'm an experienced babysitter with like many kids. No, that would freak me out too. In an airport, no. I come to his rescue, says OP, and grab the loudest kid and try to calm him. We wind up waiting for 15 minutes with 2 screaming banshees and are getting dirty looks from everyone. My brother-in-law comes through and profusely apologizes and takes the kids. To be fair, on this occasion it isn't their fault in the sense that they were stuck at security. But where did the mum go? I'm so confused. Did she go back to help brother-in-law? Maybe that's what happened. My sister comes through, there she is, and barks orders for me to find some snacks for the kids as their flight is boarding soon. It sounds like maybe you're on a different flight, which would be a good thing. It's super unfair to rope us in to look after the kids that aren't our responsibility. One old lady came up afterwards and asked if we were okay and if we knew those kids. I said I was the auntie and she gave me a pitiful look. They were not well behaved and they have attachment issues. They throw tantrums constantly. Thank goodness we were on a different flight. My goodness is thanking for you, OP. Oh my lord. Husband tells me, imagine that flight. Well, to be fair, they're going to be with parents, so hopefully they won't have so much of a tantrum. But imagine if you had to take them on a flight. You didn't know about the attachment issues. Blah. Husband tells me after he's now having second thoughts about kids, and to be honest, so am I. Oh no. We have another big family trip in October and we're going to be on a cruise. My sister asked what flights we're on so that we can help. Not even so that we can sit together, so we can help. That is very entitled. I'm not on board with this. Husband and I are making an action plan to make ourselves scarce and we will be booking a separate flight. Good for you, OP. Update, sister is now asking if we can book our flight in the afternoon to help her with the kids. We've booked a flight as early as possible in the morning and we will not be telling her when. The reality is, I mean, to be fair, I don't know how big the airport is or like where you're going if it's like super frequent, but typically from the UK there's not very many flights. If you're saying I'm going to the morning on this day to this country or place, it's going to be quite easy to find the flight that you're on. But that isn't the point. The point is you should be able to say, hey, this is not okay with me. I do not enjoy this part of the experience. They are your kids. You handle that. I am setting my boundary here. We can spend time together. And of course I'll be good company for the kids, but it's much easier to do that when you are around. Like you can still have your time elsewhere, but still be in view because your kids have hella big attachment issues. I have seen this before, specifically with lockdown babies, which is really sad. But the good news is with the right amount of support, these kids can totally flourish. And the other good news is not all kids are like this. So I'm really sorry that you and your husband have been put off. It's honestly entirely up to you whether you want to have kids. And I have to say, like, it doesn't also need to be like a linear journey. It's funny, I don't know if it's because I'm at that age where people are having kids more and so those conversations like very conscious that I'm noticing that more and more people seem to not be wanting to have kids, or if it's because nowadays compared to years before, people are just not wanting to have kids as often. I don't know if that's because there's like a reclaiming of like, no, this is my life and I get to do what I want with it, or if there's like a confidence that's been growing in the generations to be able to be like, meh, I push social convention away. I honestly don't know, but I have noticed so many more people not wanting to have kids and I don't blame you for it. Like, you need to do what's right for you, and the worst thing at the end of the day would be for you to have children that you didn't want and end up growing up resentful children who weren't looked after. Well, all that to say that I'm really not against people not having children. It would just be a shame that if you were planning on having children, for this one experience to put it away, because this is not how parenting needs to be. I know so many beautiful, beautiful, gorgeous little family networks where kids are incredibly well adjusted, where kids are incredibly well behaved, where kids very rarely, very, very rarely have tantrums. And I look at those families and I'm like, yeah, maybe I could do this one day. As far as entitled parents go, and I can't believe I'm saying this feels quite tame. I feel so bad for you, my love, that you and your husband had to go through this. You shouldn't have to, and I wish you well on the cruise. I really hope you're able to draw on those boundaries and just ultimately make sure that you and partner have some time together, because you deserve that. It's your holiday too. But if we're talking about the grand scheme of things, where we see entitled parents shouting at restaurateurs or stealing candy from kids, literally, this is on the lesser scale. I'm gonna pop you about here. Like a 3 out of 10. Shall we see what other people have to say? Yikes, a cruise? Boy, I would miss that boat. I have to say, my own experience of a cruise was Virgin Voyages, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I do think a lot of that was down to the fact that it was child-free. It defied all my expectations of cruises, from how sustainable they can be, to the activities that are on them, to like how stuffy they feel. And I have to say, they're like big, right? Like cruise ships are big. And so I imagine it could be quite easy, actually, perhaps deceptively so, to hide from people that you don't want to on a cruise. If me and my mortal enemy was on a cruise, I wouldn't think that my holiday was going to be ruined. Do you know what I mean? I have hope for you, OP. I have hope. The thing about a cruise is cell phone coverage is very expensive, not very good. It's surprisingly easy to hide from people on a floating hotel, huh? Just do your own damn thing. Show up for breakfast and dinner and disappear for the rest of the time. And going ashore, you can book excursions with multiple people. And this is coming from a veteran of many multi-generational cruises with my in-laws. This is adorable, and I love that, and thank you for the suggestion. OP, I hope you're able to see this and feel instilled with hope for your holiday. With all due respect, this is why you sometimes need to put your foot down, figuratively speaking, and don't let people waltz all over you, not even if they are family. Respect comes from 2 directions, not 1. I totally agree with this. I'm also totally on board with the idea of a support network, and there's a time and a place for everything, right? And it just sounds like maybe you weren't given your time and a place. I have 4 kids, and I cannot imagine just dumping them on a family member during vacation. How rude. How rude indeed. To be fair, I don't think they were like fully dumped. I think the biggest issue here was the security time, and it's not their fault. Having said that, like, I don't think mum and brother-in-law chose to be at security and away from the kids, and then that wouldn't have happened. But regardless, I see what you're saying. All right, should we take a look at another entitled parent flip? My husband and I went to a vineyard for wine tasting. Oh, fancy, fancy. This place is a combination vineyard and apple orchard. Oh, and they make wine and hard ciders. People do bring kids sometimes, but it's mostly a place for bachelorette parties, people drinking wine outside and chilling to some live music. What I'm hearing is people shouldn't bring their kids. That's really what Opie's saying here, right? And you know what? I don't hate it. I don't disagree. I do think sometimes sometimes you need to look at things contextually, and like fancy restaurants, for example, there are some that contextually just don't work to bring children. There may not be an anti-child policy, but you need to read the room, parents. Like, I would choose not to bring children to wine tasting because it just doesn't feel like the right place to bring a child, particularly if you know that they're going to be unruly. Anyway, OP says we are inside doing the wine tasting. Inside? Inside, outside? Inside of the vineyard, but outside of the world? I've never been to a wine tasting before. Is it normally done inside? Anyway, and this woman walks in with her baby.
What's the baby?
She goes to one of the bar counters and proceeds to start changing her baby's dirty diaper right on the counter. No, she didn't even put a blanket or towel down first, just a dirty diaper right on the counter. No! Did the staff not stop this from happening? Surely this is like a huge hygiene issue? The staff were staring at her with pretty horrified looks. Or do something. I'm pretty sure my husband and I were like, A few of the other customers in the place were definitely watching with confused looks, and after she left, one of the vineyard staff had to Clorox wipe and spray down the whole counter. Sometimes I just wonder about people. This is very entitled behavior, but it just should not have been allowed to happen. Like, I get it. The staff would not have to step in if the mum was not doing something so incredibly rude and gross in a place of consumption. But at the same time, if people are doing silly things, you need to step in and not let it happen. Having said that, if this is a true entitled parent, which it really could be, their response is probably not something that any staff member who's just paid a wage to serve wine is going to want to deal with. It is part and parcel of the job. It's not a nice part of the job. I really would have expected someone to step in. I'm not saying it's their fault. It's entitled parents' fault. But it's important to note, and I'm going to rank her like a 7. 7. That feels appropriate for wine diaper baby mama. Who on earth would feel like that was an appropriate thing to do? Where wine is being served. Why would the staff stand there and let her do that? To be honest, I was kind of wondering the same thing. I've seen people do this when I work at a restaurant. I have no idea why the hell they think this is okay. We have to super sanitize the area and it ties up the table for hours. If we see anyone start that, we'll tell them stop or we'll trespass them and call the cops. What does trespass them mean? I don't know, but I'm intrigued. It is a huge health no. Well, yeah, because you're getting like feces particles onto things that people put in their mouths. Not only do they do that, they pay for it, which means you have a duty of care, establishment. We have a changing thing in the bathrooms. For goodness sakes, don't be silly. I totally agree. The only time that I think this would be okay is if there were no toilets, or if their toilets didn't have a changing facility. But even then, like, you can use your lap. You can use the floor. I don't think there's any issue with someone having to change their baby. I just think there are many other places that you could do this that wasn't directly where people are being mass served things that they put in their mouths. I'll be honest, beside the fact that the dirty diaper thing is gross, one of my biggest pet peeves is kids at a winery. It's literally a place where adults go to drink. I don't want to go drink with my kids. I don't want to deal with other people's kids when I'm drinking with my friends. There are so many places you can take your kids, but this isn't one that I think you should. Get a damn sitter, and if you can't, then stay at home. I've had to miss out on adult experience lots of times because I couldn't get a sitter, and it's, oh well, part of being a parent. I can see why people feel this way. Like a spa. You don't go somewhere that's like specifically made for relaxing and sophistication. You wouldn't expect to see a kid at a gentleman's club, she says, having just watched Gilmore Girls, which is why that's like front of mind. I don't go to a gentleman's club, okay? The gym. There are just some places where adults go to do adult things, to get your mind out the gutter, that's not what I meant, and kids just shouldn't be there. And it is just a society frown, a little brow, to be like, no kids. I kind of agree with you, says OP. I don't have kids, but I felt the same way about breweries and vineyards. A lot of the breweries around where I live won't even permit you to take a tour unless you are over 21, but in my experience, people typically don't bring their kids to beer tastings. Someone else here has said the amount of bathrooms that I've gone to without baby changing areas or even enough sink counter space, you all don't have kids, and it shows. I'd have chosen the ground over a counter, but gee, so judgmental. I think maybe this is a little bit unfair. I don't think it's a problem at all to be changing your child. It is a problem to be exposing the bar where people mass transfer food and drink to your baby's feces. It's that simple. It's that simple. It's not a parental judgment. It is hygiene in its basic form. If you're gonna call me judgmental for that, then fine. I'm judgmental. What do you think, PJs? Get your fuzzy little butts downstairs in the comment section. Let's have a chat. Just remember to be kind. I mean it. Entitled parent tries to drag me out of the park. Oh, this is not good. Thursday, I went to the park alone just to sit at a beach, enjoy nature, read a book, and scroll on my phone. There I was when I noticed this lady next to the playground watching me. She kept looking at me, and after 10 minutes, she started to walk towards me. I let out a sigh and prepared myself because I already had an idea of where this was going. The lady comes up to me and says, "Excuse me, young lady, but where are your parents? Are they here?" I said, "No, they're not here." An entitled parent says, "Don't you think it's dangerous dangerous for a girl your age to be alone. OP says no, not really. Entitled parent, now sounding a little alone, says a girl like you shouldn't be left unattended. Where are your parents? I want to talk to them. I'm assuming she's referring to age. OP then says, ma'am, I appreciate your concern, but I am 16 and very capable of taking care of myself. I guess I picked the wrong chat option because after I said that, she got super mad. Don't lie to me, young lady. Well, OP says I'm not lying. She says I'm not stupid. I know what a 16-year-old looks like. Well, clearly not. OP says, look, here's my driver's license. I pull out my wallet and show her my driver's license. She glances at it and scoffs. She says, please, I know a fake license when I see one. My 10-year-old could do a better job making one. And I said, what? No, it's not fake. Can you please just leave me alone? Oh, I added the please. There was no please. But you know what? You don't need to give please. She's pretty rude. Entitled parent says, if it's not fake, then you'll have no problem showing it to those officers over there. She points to a police car parked on the side of the road, and before I can say anything, she reaches down, grabs my wrist really hard too, pulls me off the bench, and starts pulling me to the cop car. Rude. Rude, 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 rude. Also, super illegal. No, not consensual touching. Let me go, says OP. You are hurting me. As we get close to the car, an officer comes out and comes up to us and says, is there a problem, ma'am? She says, yes, there is, pulling me in front of her and says, tell the man what you did. How patronizing is this Jack? That's what I did, says OP. Now let go of me. Police officer says, ma'am, is this your daughter? I say, no, she's not my mum. She's just some random lady. And the officer says, ma'am, please let go of the child. The woman then lets go of my wrist. Of course, because the only person she's listening to is a man of authority, not the person she is actually assaulting. She says she's lying about her age and she has a fake driver's license. The officer asks, do you have a fake ID? I say no. He sees it, asks how old I am. I say 16. He looks me up and down before checking the license and says, ma'am, this is a valid driver's license. The fact that you had to go through all this. What? No, it can't be. She doesn't look 16. She's too young, says entitled parent. Officer says the ID is valid and it says that she's 16. It's not a crime to look young. However, it is a crime to drag someone across the street. Miss, do you want to press charges for assault? Wait, what? Says the entitled parent, and OP says, no, I just want to go back to my day. Fair enough. It's up to you. Officer says, very well. Entitled parent tries to butt in, but officer says, ma'am, if I were you, I'd stop talking. I'd also apologize to this young lady and thank her because she just saved you from a lot of trouble. Entitled parent gave a half-hearted apology and ran off. The officer then made sure that I was alright, apologised for her, and handed back the licence. And after that, I grabbed my stuff and went back home. Solid 8. I'm deliberating whether this one needs to be a 9, but this is bananas. This is absolutely bananas that someone would not believe you. Why would you have any reason to lie? Like, if you were some sort of, like, actual 12-year-old doing something naughty, why would you be sitting in a park reading a book? Without supervision, like what? People are weird. Always press charges. It is time for you to get some pepper spray. Oh, no. So in order to, in her mind, save the young children from the dangers of the big bad world, she becomes the danger. Oh, the irony. The irony indeed. Totally should have pressed charges for assault. It's the only way that they'll learn. I don't know. I feel like entitled parent got a really big scare, and I don't feel like you should have to, if you don't want to, make this impede on your day anymore. Make this uncomfortable interaction with this uncomfortable, annoying freaking person any bigger, any longer, any more meaningful than it's already affected you, you know? So it's entirely up to you. That is a doozy, though. That is a doozy. Whoop. Entitled mother thinks her son can freely block the mini-golf to others because he's little. Or little kids. Or little squishes. They can get away with a lot, but hey, do not get between a Shaaba and her mini-golf. Let's see where this goes. A few weeks ago, me and my girlfriend, both in our mid-20s, went to a hotel for vacation. The hotel had mini-golf located within its grounds, and the mini-golf area itself was freely accessible to guests. To get the clubs and the balls, you had to pay a small extra charge. I have never been to a hotel with mini-golf. I feel like I'm really missing out. That sounds bloody great. That's amazing. I love that. We had mini golf at our wedding. I really like mini golf. Me and my girlfriend decided that we should try it out, so I rented out the equipment from the lobby and we went to play. As we were progressing through the holes, we noticed there was a mum with her son, about 4 to 5 years old maybe, at the mini golf area with the little kid playing with his toy car on some of the golf fields. This is fine. This is fine so far. Would you agree this is fine? I think this is fine. Okay. We didn't mind at first because he was playing away from the holes where we were, but after a while we noticed that the kid was sort of following us, always playing on the previous hole that we just cleared. Why do kids do that? I get it, they're kids. I just wish I could go through their mind sometimes. Like, is this attention seeking? Is this them being like, I want to be able to do this? I really do think that, like, psychologically stripped back, it's just attention seeking behavior. They want someone to say hey, they want some attention, they want some interaction. Let's read on. His mum was just sitting on a bench nearby, occasionally looking up from her phone to check on him. This lasted for a few holes until at one point the kid went ahead of us and started playing at the hole that we just got to. And here goes the problem. We waited a little, hoping that he would go away, but even after a few minutes, he continued to play there. Yeah, it's because he knows. He knows that you want to use it. And he's like, oh, friends. He's just not doing it properly. I called out to his mum, politely asking if she could tell the kid to play elsewhere. She replied, but he's just a little boy. Do you have kids? Do you have kids? I told her we don't. And then she said, then you'll understand my situation when you will have a kid. Lady, that is not for you to decide. Nobody else needs to understand your situation. You have a kid, you deal with it. Nobody else needs to be empathetic or understanding if there is a space, particularly space that OP has paid for, and your kid is obstructing their experience in a public area. Get your kid away. Watching these videos, and when I watch me for the first time, I bet people are like, wow, she really doesn't like kids. I actually really like kids. I just don't like entitled parenting. She kept talking on and on about how he's just a little boy and I should understand her situation. I told her that it's okay, but we'd still like to play here and her son is blocking us. She finally stood up, grabbed her kid, and when she was taking him away, she kept repeating, he's just a little boy. Oh, wowee, that is very annoying. This is not as bad as dragging OP to a police officer, but I kind of feel I'm gonna put you on par with baby diaper bar wine mama. That's the vibe. Method for dealing with younger children when not being correctly supervised. Hey, your parent has some yummy sweets for you. The parent will then quickly become the focus of the child's attention. I don't agree with this. This is very funny, but it's not great advice. I understand wanting to get the kid away, but I feel like 1, whispering to a child is just never going to look good. 2, bringing sweeties in that conversation is also just never going to look good. And 3, what happens when the kid then goes, that person over there told me you'd give me sweeties. No. I'd rather just be like, hello parent, child is bothering me. Yes, he is a little boy, and so he should have parental supervision. This is the answer. When he is a little kid, is the best time to teach him how to act properly in public. Like, how are these parents not embarrassed? Do you think their embarrassment just gets so high that it turns into entitlement? You know how, like, when a little puppy or a jumper is so ugly it ends up looking cute? That's my theory. They're just like numb to it. They're just like, broken, must be a dick. All right. 2 weeks ago, I went to the gym in my apartment complex at 10:30 a.m. to run 2 miles as part of my morning routine. I am in awe. Go you. One day, this father and toddler walk into the gym as I'm beginning my run. I thought the father was going to work out and hand his kid the phone or something to entertain themselves, but that did not happen. The kid was working out whilst the dad was on the phone. As soon as I turn my back to the pair, I hear all the exercise balls bouncing to the ground and a child's gleeful, yet ear-splittingly loud and rage-inducing screech. I turned around to find that the father had knocked the balls off of the shelves and given the kid 2 tube-like objects to hit the balls around with and had sat down on a bench and talked on the phone. This is a gym. This is not a playground. Those balls are also like hella heavy, dude. Like, What parent feels like this is a good parenting move? Then before I can fully turn back around to try to ignore the situation and finish my run, a big exercise ball hits my head and knocks my made by a close friend of mine who I don't get to see anymore, water bottle off the treadmill, shattering the outer plastic casing. No! The glitter spill everywhere and my water all gone all over the floor. This is heartbreaking. I'm so sorry, and I understand that, they didn't know that it was so meaningful, but it's a gym. It's a gym. I silently stopped the treadmill, grabbed my shattered water bottle and started to exit the gym, my cheeks burning red, and then another ball hit me behind my knees, causing me to almost fall. I kept walking straight to the leasing office. Hey, brownie badge for UOP for not like I would have been ready to slap a My apartment complex manager listened to my story and walked me halfway back to the gym before turning to me and saying, I'll handle this idiot, but I'll give you a minute to leave the area before I do. I thanked her and apologised for having to bother her with it. She was having none of it, hence why I like her a lot. Look, I'm so glad that you have good management. That is very rare, but I'm very happy for you. I thought that would be the end of it, but nope. 2 weeks ago, my boyfriend and I were both at the gym at around 5 for an evening of stress release to run. We begin, and halfway through the first mile, the same toddler and his mother come in. A double dose of stupidity. And she does the same exact thing as her husband. I repeat everything that I did before whilst telling my boyfriend that I would be right back. The manager saw me walk in my workout clothes and instantly asked me again. I nodded and explained that it's the mum with the kid this time. She goes to the gym whilst I was waiting in the leasing office lobby, looking at cookie options. They feed us here, lol. What rental place do you live in? Can I join you? This sounds like a cool place. 2 minutes later, she's about to tell me that she's witnessed an entitled and incompetent parent coax their child out the gym. I thank her and try to apologise again, but she again was having none of it. If it happens again, they will get their third strike. I asked, and we all know what that third strike is when you rent an apartment. The gym is not a playground for crotch goblins. I have not heard the term crotch goblins before. I don't know how I feel about that term. But you are absolutely right. The gym is no place for a child. Like a child to be left to play. It is so not okay. Everything at a gym can hurt a child. From the movement of cardio machines to the heaviness and bulkiness of weights, exercise balls, and the likes. Big no. Big no. This is just like shitty parenting in my opinion. Just like really, really bad parenting. OP's also added that the complex has 2 playgrounds. My anger is justified, at least I think so. I think so too, babe. Good on you. And may I say, well done for the grace in which you acted. It was a lot calmer than I could have been. Yikes, handled it very well. Good on you. Gyms are not a safe place for a small kid to be running about in. It's not like they were just running. Like the parents were actively enabling them to play with heavy and dangerous equipment. Like what? You have much more restraint than me. I'd have been so tempted to grab the largest ball and throw it point blank as hard as possible at the little rugrat's face. Or the parent's face. As I suppose it's not the kid's fault that they've been raised to be entitled sport brats. This is true, but like, don't do this. You may want to do this, but don't do this. This is bad. This is not poopy diaper bad. I'm gonna rate you a solid 5. A 5 on the scale. Maybe a 6 actually. I'm gonna go 6 because RIP your water bottle and also your head and the back of your shins. The fact that the parents didn't say anything. Like, were they just not looking? Were they on their phone? That means that if their kid was genuinely in pain because like the kid literally hurt you and they didn't do anything, like they just weren't paying attention or they just didn't care. I don't know which is worse. Terrible parents. The gym is no place for a kid. All right, let's do one more. Shboop. Petty Karen jumps in our photo and puts their middle fingers up. No way. You got to flip the bird by Karen. Oh my goodness. Me and my 3 friends were in this big park at night. It had this giant path with different lights along the way, which were really, really pretty. I love this. This is cute. This is a vibe. There's a place local to us that does this so well, and I look forward to it every Christmas. So after a bit, we stopped, says OP, at this tunnel of lights, and me and my friend stood to take a photo. We didn't realize at the time that we accidentally walked into a mother taking a photo of her daughter, and she started shouting and swearing at us that, oh, there those people go, ruining my photo. We heard her. One of my friends started to apologize, not realizing that we got in her photo. The amount of times that I've done this and been like, I'm so sorry. It happens. It happens. Don't be rude. Also, you're like in a public place. You have to expect that people are going to be walking. It's not your right of way just because you're standing there with a camera. Do you know what I mean? Like, ideally, if people notice, they would stop. But if they choose not to stop, I'm not having a go at them being like, oh, it's your fault you're not stopping for me on this public pathway. You just be like, yeah, no problem. And then you wait for a good time to take a damn photo. The level of entitlement. Oh my lord. We walked away and thought that was that. We were at a different part and started taking more photos, and guess who shows up and photobombs us? Mother.
Wow.
Karen! This lady came in front of our photo and put the middle finger up for what? Because in a crowded place, we accidentally walked in her photo. Fun times when grown-ass women act like they own the entire place and everyone has to move out the way for her majesty. This entitlement, 6. 6, 7, 6, 6, 5. 5.5 is my final answer. Take it or leave it. Mama Karma, do your thing, babe. Do your thing, because these people do not deserve to be treated this way. And I really hope that you are able to provide some perspectives to these entitled parents and encourage them to be better parents, because this is not the one. All right, my peaches, I think we'll leave it there for today. Did you enjoy the video? Did we learn anything? Or is it just all a bit of juicy fun at this point? I don't know. I'm yet to see an entitled parent in the wild. I'm hoping I never do. But in the meantime, if you'd like to check out the gorgeous wild, please feel free to do so. You will not regret it. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I'll catch you next time with another video. Be kind and have a great day. Bye.